Well, my story in some ways is a little bit typical. In some ways, I grew up in the deep South and Metro Atlanta is where most of my growing up was, and my family, we were a church-going family, and typical of that mindset, that culture, kind of the zeitgeist, the feel of things, that's just what we did. In suburban Atlanta, we got up on Sunday morning, went to church. I was active in the youth group, and however, inside the home was a little bit of a different story. Not wanton living opposite of what we did in church, but it was a really kind of a tough emotional place to grow up in. We had some mental instability in the home, and my mom had some instability that she suffered, and my dad was a good man by definition. He worked hard, but however didn't provide a lot of cover for me and my two siblings growing up. And so I got active in youth group, and what happened was I learned the answers to a lot of questions about the Bible. That's not bad necessarily, but for a long time I equated that with being a believer, with being saved, being a Christian. And I was active in my youth group and answered questions and was a leader and on the youth council back in the day when those were a thing. And as I grew older and left home, hit the skids in addiction and became highly addicted to many things, substances and behaviors. And came a point in time in my mid-20s when I was very, very obese, highly addicted to chemicals and to pornography and some other things, and really was a real disaster emotionally, internally. And I had an intervention that happened when I was in my mid-20s, and by the grace of God, I remember burying my head in an old nasty chair in a trailer house in northeastern Oklahoma, and praying and saying to God, I've really blown it. There's no way you'll ever use anybody like me. But I remember distinctly experiencing, it's kind of one of those things you probably heard before. I don't know if the voice was inside of me, outside of me. So I say I experienced the voice of God coming from somewhere that said to me, you don't decide your days, I do. And that has proven to be true through the years. The great gift, not just of formal 12-step recovery, but the gift of having a life in recovery where the Lord, I've never had an egg broken over my head, but if I would have had that, it felt like what I think that would feel like, just yoke oozing over me, like the grace of God being like that, just came over me from head to toe and covered me in His grace, and said, I have come for you. And I remember getting up from that experience thinking, I'm not really sure about the point of salvation and the moment of that, but I am really sure that God has met me here in this trailer house. And I had had this vision for years as I was a little boy of helping people, walking with hurting people, before I even knew what to call it. And so the Lord was gracious. And I finally finished college. It took me about 10 years to finish college with all the internal disaster mainly going on in my life. And He has given me over 35 years of ministry inside the church as a vocational pastor and outside the church of what I do now with 10 Men, helping our coaches help other people. So it has been a privilege and continues to be a privilege and a joy, and I'm terribly humbled to be able to work with people and doing what we say at 10 Men. We wash the feet of those who wash the feet of others. And so part of my great joy has been to do that, not just professionally, but also my personal life too, as many, many people have washed mine. So I'm grateful to God for what He has allowed me to do coming from the background I came from.